Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot, your ultimate destination for pop culture and celebrity tarot reading. So I'm Annabelle. Welcome to 2024. It's my first video of the year. Those of you that are faithful followers know that I have been in bed with the flu for the last week or so. So this is really my first day up and at 'em. Took me a little while to get out of bed, but I'm up and at 'em. So still a little chilly. I'm still snuggled up in a sweater, but thanks for being patient while I recovered. So again, I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years, long time. And in this video, we are going to take a mystical journey into the lives of Demi Lovato and Jordan Jutes. So I hope I'm saying his name right. So they just recently got engaged. We're going to go into a little bit more detail. They got engaged during the month of December. But Demi's been through some interesting history. I did see in my research for this video that she is now referring to herself as her pronouns are she, they. So I'm going to try and use them correctly. I hope I got them right. But before we get there, please remember all my readings are for entertainment purposes only, and you should always do your own research before making any decisions. You can also book your own private magical reading at the link in the description of this video or by going to my website, FortuneCookiesTarot.com. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up for 2024, including new collabs with other content creator. We have coaching, and we're going to be coaching and promoting some new readers as well. Super excited about that. And we're just going to give you better and better content. So I appreciate everybody being patient while I was getting better. I am in the middle of a 12-week intro to tarot course right now, but I do have another one starting in February. So if you are interested, you can email me at FortuneCookiesTarot@gmail.com and ask some questions. I have payment options, all kinds of cool stuff. So, and you will be able to start your own YouTube channel, do readings for friends, those kinds of things at the end of the Tarot 101 course. It really is one-stop shopping. I have my own unique way of teaching how to read the cards, how to memorize the cards. We don't want to memorize them, but I have my own way of doing that. And also, we are looking to expand our Fortune Cookies team in 2024. So if tarot is something you've always wanted to do as a side gig or full-time job, absolutely send me an email and we will talk about getting you set up for that. Again, FortuneCookiesTarot@gmail.com. So please subscribe, hit the bell, and comment on this because I don't know much about Demi Lovato. So I know a little bit. I know enough to be dangerous, but I know nothing about her fiance. So comment away on this. This was one of my subscriber requests, so I wanted to make sure that I did tackle it before we got too far into 2024. So, most of all, thank you everybody for continuing on this journey with me. I think this is my third year on YouTube. I mean, like some people, they have like their channel for 1 year and they have like 42,000 subscribers. I'm like still limping along at 2K, but this is my favorite part of the day. So I really appreciate it. I'm really going to work on being more consistent with the videos for you guys. So hopefully no more flus will get involved. So let's pull up our card view here and get down to brass tacks. So Demi Lovato, like we said, she has had some interesting challenges over the last few years. So I want to definitely take a look at this relationship. We did get a jump out card, but we're not going to take that just yet. Let's just get an overview of the relationship. And we'll do a Celtic cross here, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. My students are currently working on their Celtic cross in my class right now. So this is the center card. This is going to represent the relationship as it is. This is the union between the two of them. We're talking about Demi Lovato and Jordan Jutes. This is what crosses them or holds them back. Okay. Now, this space over here, I always call this the suitcase spot. I tell people this is the suitcase spot. Oh boy, this is not looking like a good reading so far. We're going to give them 2 cards over here for that. And then shadow self, I think we're going to do 2 as well. On their mind. Oh boy. And then outcome. I'm going to leave that as it is. This looks pretty complicated. So it's a little bit different from your standard Celtic cross. But so here in the middle, we've got this world in reverse. Now, I did in my research, I did see that they met. They're a little dissimilar when it comes to music. They met when he was working on one of her albums. Now, he had a kind of an interesting uh shift in his career. I guess during the pandemic, he was released from his record label, and I believe it was Capitol Records. I'm just scrolling through. Yeah, here's the quote. When I got asked to pull up and write for this session, her session, I remember thinking, WTF am I supposed to do in a Demi Lovato session, only to show up and realize she was making one of the hardest rock projects I've ever heard. He continued, and obviously a crazy milestone for me, but beyond that, I feel so blessed to be a part of something that I'm such a big fan of. So he did co-write some of the songs on her Holy FVCK. I can't say it. He co-wrote Substance, Happy Endings, and City of Los Angeles. Now, they are both in recovery. So they're in this People magazine article. There is some allusion to the fact that they did bond over the shared experience of having substance abuse. And what else? I mean, that can be a good thing or a bad thing, but like I said, he was I think allowed out of his contract with Capitol Records. It was Capitol Records. He said, I left because due to COVID, mad budgets got cut. I guess they didn't want to hold me and not give me the support I needed, which is so blessed of them to do. So he was happy about leaving. He was also interested in, I had been wishing I could be in indie again just for a while, just because I love totally being in charge of my own career. So it worked out quite nicely. So serendipitous for sure for him. I will say this, he is Canadian. And Demi looks really good. She just turned 31 in August, and she looks really, really good in some of these pictures. Very healthy, super cute. She's one of the few girls who can like go really short with her hair, and she still looks great. But here, this world in reverse is troubling because this is like it's almost like moving into a different level of life and not really being ready for it, not really being prepared to take that next step into a wider world, a different type of relationship or a shared existence. And what's crossing them is the Lover's card in reverse. And this can indicate that both parties maybe are a bit too selfish. That doesn't mean that they can't have a great time and get on really, really well together, but that there may be some issues underneath, that there's some selfishness that or some self-care that borders on selfishness that they really should be aware of before they proceed with any kind of permanent situation. So engaged, yes, it's great, but moving forward, I think that there's some stuff that they need to take care of. So this conscious mind, we're going to skip to the conscious mind real quick. And this placement for me is always what's immediately pressing on your mind, what people are hearing you say, what you're discussing, what you're working on, your obvious goals, things like that. So this Three of Swords is wounded and trying to get on top of that wound. So if this is, a balm for a broken heart, a past relationship, that's not a good thing. Now, I'm not sure if this is him or her. Over here, we've got the other individual, the corresponding individual, who is not able to regulate emotions very well. So I have a feeling that this may be Demi, that she's, still, very freshly working through some of those challenges that we have as an adult when we're, going through substance abuse issues, that kind of thing. Coupled with fame and, all the temptations that come within Hollywood. I think this is her. I think he is healing from a past relationship that is still kind of sticking out there. There's a lot of reminders, pleasant reminders, happy reminders, within this relationship of the last relationship. So he's almost, I don't want to say cherry picking from the past emotional fruit on the tree, but he's seeing some things and ignoring the negative things. And that brings us to this. I always tell my clients, this space should be the stuff that we pack in a suitcase and bring with us to the future. So there was a very unhappy situation, and he's ignoring all of the unhappy stuff. This is the stuff that he should take in the suitcase with him to be I hate to say red flags. I don't want to say red flags, but it should be those mile markers where you go, oh, wait a minute, that's something that we need to work on. That's something that we need to suss out and maybe establish some boundaries, some guidelines, some rules and regulations for the relationship. So that's something that, and I don't get the sense that he is someone who plans really, really, really far in the future. And that's not like a bad thing. He's very focused on the here and now, what he's doing here and now, and what he has in hand. He is not saying, where is this going to wind up 25 years from now? Just not that kind of thinking. He's very jolly and happy in the present moment. So, I do think that that's good. And it's an excitement that's coming out of this really drag of a relationship that he had before. So I didn't do any research on who he dated before, anything like that. Now, Demi is very rudderless. She needs this person to kind of anchor her into her present. So I think in that sense, this is a good thing. He's going to serve as a very good anchor to the present, living in that moment. But for her, she really needs to be forward thinking and to be looking at the investment in the future, the relationship investment in the future, if that makes sense. So she's been failed by other partners that were not walking with her into the future. It was almost like kind of floating in the pool. And that's not really living in the moment when you're floating in the pool. You're just kind of floating there, not doing anything, and you're just kind of vacuous in that situation. So I do think that these things, the suitcase cards that they need to bring into the future with them, are very important, because these are negative things that they need to address. Ignoring the negative parts of the relationship is on his side, and for her, the almost, I don't want to say it's desperation, but the obsession of having that partner and having that family life, that partnership moving into the future. It's, she really needs to make sure that this is the person that she wants to be, and not the person that's just willing to get into that kind of relationship. So I think this is really important stuff for them to know moving forward. Under the surface, shadow self. She wants to get into work. Now, there's a problem with her getting into her work and getting really deep. It's going to that almost becomes a substance in and of itself, the work aspect. When she starts to get into something, she will do it 110%, which is great. That's a great thing, but you have to measure yourself and meet out the energy that you need to do that. So there's a lot of good ideas at hand. A lot of good things are brewing in her. She has to make sure that she turns this fire energy, which is fast burning and can disappear very quickly. She needs to turn that into more pentacle energy. So having more foresight, and planning that out, I think, is a good thing. He is the same way. He kind of wants to jump from project to project, true artist kind of feeling here, where he will have a number of different projects that he's working on at the same time. So really important for both of them to kind of sit down and meet out the goals and the milestones that they need to hit professionally and personally together. Here, I don't think that they're really equipped to move forward into a marriage relationship. Now, 31. First time I got married, I was 27. I totally thought I was an old maid. 31 may seem like it's a little long in the tooth to still be figuring out what kind of relationship you want to be in, what kind of life you want to be in. But I think they need to move a little bit slowly on this. I think at least a year-long engagement, because they're going to find during for me, if I had done this reading in November before they got engaged, I would say do not get engaged. Make sure that you maintain your own residence, your own situation. Share in each other's lives, absolutely, but maintain your own pillar, if you will. So not to talk about siloed thinking or anything like that, but I think keeping a siloed approach while they continue to develop as individuals is really important. We're just going to pull a few more cards. What are the pitfalls of this relationship, other than kind of having some rose-colored glasses, which we've already seen over here? Some pitfalls, that substance abuse and excessive emotionality, because these can go hands in hand. We need to emotionality will cause us to answer very quickly, but if we give it a little bit of time, if you sleep on it, your logic will kick in and will give you more insight. So I think the emotionality is something, getting caught up in all the excitement of being engaged and being in a new relationship, that kind of stuff. They need to address that, because that could send them back to some past stuff that they don't want to. The good stuff, I don't think that this is a terrifically plug and play kind of relationship. I think this is something they have to work on together. Now, I know that sounds terrible. Like anytime you say someone, oh, we need to work on a relationship, like that just sounds like no fun whatsoever. But I think that having a youthful approach of excitement and, sex and love and all rock and roll, all that stuff, I think that's great, but they need to transform that into a more adult approach. If they do that, this relationship absolutely can stand on its own 2 feet, at least for some time. But I do think that they need to level up in terms of maturity. And that's something that we saw here, where they're not quite ready to move into the next realm of adulthood and relationship together. So that's kind of how I see it. So not super promising. Not, this isn't like an end all be all relationship. Yay, they're going to be great. Everything's terrific. All relationships require a little bit of care and feeding. We all know that. So I think I wish them the best of luck. I think This is a step into a more adult approach to life. And I think this is pretty cool. So we'll see. We'll stay tuned to this. So let me know in the comments what you think about this, what you think about Demi Lovato, what you know about her. I really don't know anything about her. I don't even know any of her songs. I hate to say it. But it was a reader request. If you would like your own magical reading, you can book one down below, or you can go to my website, FortuneCookiesTarot.com. I hope all of you are having a great day, and I will see you back in the next video. We're also going to have this week, we're going to do a little bit on Cher and her son, Elijah Blue, who seems to be experiencing some issues. Who else is on my list? There's some rumblings about Gwen Stefani and Blake Shelton, not Sheldon. Thank you, Gregopedia. Also, Shannon Doherty, wanted to check in on her because apparently she went on a bucket list cruise with her oncologist, who is also her friend. So, so a little bit worried about her. That doesn't sound too promising. So, but I will see you all again soon. Thank you so much for being